you bring up the idea of faith, and it's when I think about level up business, one of the things that I've been thinking about is there's three areas to level up: level up your mind, level up your marketing, level up your sales. But let's go back to level up your mind. One of the perspectives that we can gain here is about the renewing of the mind, the need to renew the mind. And I forget the actual scripture that recalls that, but the renewing of the mind, faith. What role has faith played in your journey as an entrepreneur over the years?
It's pretty big, I guess. I'll tell you, a big thing that hit me not too long ago. I can't remember what executive shared this or was some big founder, but he had basically wished anybody who wanted to go on an entrepreneurial journey and wanted to excel in it, he wished very hard times on. And it was basically of all the people that we serve and the stories and the circles that I hang in, the most successful people have gone through the absolute worst things. And um, and you better have something a whole lot bigger than yourself to carry you through those. And that's where our faith comes in. And I'll still remember Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with your heart, all your heart and soul, not on your own understanding. And that was the first time I realized, like, basically there was a God and I'm not him.
Mm.
And so I was at a point in my life where I was trying to carry everything, which I respect a lot about anybody because I don't think a lot of people in our world carry the weight that they could. And so, but I really respect the people that do. And so, anyways, it was a crushing place, but understanding that acknowledgement, it gave me so much more faith to take a risk that I otherwise wouldn't have taken. And led to incredible relationships. I've failed big in some areas, but it's played a big part because especially when I hit those walls, my sports background helps me push through those. But especially if it's something that is crushing to me, right? We've all been to that place where we've gotten that bad email or bad phone call or lost a client or something crazy, and it just sits way heavy on you. Those are the times where you're like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to know in this situation? And and I think that's been a powerful acknowledgement in that I'm not the one in full control of everything. I can do a whole
Mm.
lot to stewardship my business and my life, but I'm not in control of everything. And I got to have a higher power that's speaking to me that I can listen to that is not me. So that's been a huge piece of our lives.
Well, faith, they say, is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And when you think about faith, faith is also it's what it's what you can move mountains with. And I want to come back to your point about like the hard times, and what you learned from that mentor. I will tell you in the most challenging times of my business, and I would say there's been three real big trenches over the last 23 years as an entrepreneur. That's when my faith grew the most. That's when I felt the closest to God. And I would say it's this last iteration, if you will, this last valley. I had this realization of, well, what if I stayed connected and stayed close to God through the next climb to get to the next peak? What would that be like on the other side versus, oh, I make it through the valley and then I start climbing again and I start on my own will, on my own, with my own ego, my own arrogance. Um, what if I started climbing with God now instead of trying to think that I have to do it all on my own once again? How far could I climb? How far could I go? To your point, like we can carry weight that we don't even think that we can carry, but we're not the only one carrying that weight anymore. Um, and so I really appreciate your perspective on this point because it took a long time for me to start to intersect my two worlds of entrepreneurship and faith. And I would say this is still relatively new. early on in my own, the intersection, not new in my faith journey, but just new in intersecting the worlds together. If you want to keep learning from videos like this one, I recommend you check out this video right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast conversation, you can click here.